Days after the final January 6th hearing, the final report of the committee's findings is expected to be released in full today, after some portions were already released earlier in the week. For more on this, let's bring in NBC News congressional correspondent Julie Tsirkin. Julie, good morning to you. So the report, as we recall, was originally supposed to come out yesterday. Explain to us why we have this brief delay, and then give us an overview of what we can expect to learn today.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. Well, look, this delay is all but Congress vibes, right? Like the committee said all day, we were asking them, it was a printer issue that was causing the delays. But in reality, the closer it got to Zelensky's speech in the day and the delays were still pursuing, the committee then decided that it would be best to release this report today, which, again, as we talk about this committee, it's always likely we expect the report to come out today. But I just always caution that these delays come more often than not. And with a report of this size, more than 1,000 pages, it's not inconceivable this is taking some time from the government publishing office to get that all squared away and filed. Now, when it comes to the actual contents of the report, of course, we heard from the committee on Monday when they issued those criminal referrals for former President Trump, for John Eastman and others, of course. The committee also previewed what they're going to release in this report by issuing that more than 100-page executive summary outlining these 8 chapters that they're going to release this report in. All of these chapters, I should note, will be thematic, similar to those public hearings that they've held, and further illustrate presenting evidence of why they believe that former President Trump was criminally responsible in inciting this insurrection on January 6th. So those are some of the things that we're looking for. Of course, separately, the committee is going to continue to release strips and drafts of those transcripts of more than 1,000 interviews and witnesses that they've conducted over the last year.
So, Julie, House Republicans released their own report on January 6th. They're focusing on what they say were security failures at the Capitol that day. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, and not to undermine those security failures, because of course they are important, but the 5 House Republicans that put out this report were also those 5 House Republicans that originally were supposed to be on the January 6th Select Committee before Kevin McCarthy, the Republican leader, decided not to have members of his party on the panel. Of course, Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, who don't get along with Kevin McCarthy and who are not going to be in the new Congress next year, are part of the committee. But when it comes to this GOP report, that they released as kind of a rebuttal to the House committee's final report that they are set to release today. They focused on security failures, on law enforcement failures, which of course are important, but they're also things that were already outlined, that were already studied in full by a bipartisan Senate panel just in the months after the January 6th attack. And none of their report findings focused on the former president's roles or his allies. And I think that's a key distinction there as we look into this final report and what it may contain on law enforcement response.
And Julie, while we have you, I want to ask you about former President Trump's tax record. So talk to us briefly about that new report put out by Congress and why the IRS is now being criticized.
Yeah, a lot of themes here with Democrats in the House finishing up these key committee findings and investigations just weeks and days before the House is set to be controlled by Republicans. So I think that's key to pay attention to there. But this Ways and Means Committee report, they investigated Trump's taxes. They finally get their hands on it last month when the Supreme Court ruled that they had to be handed over to the committee to study. Now, they released top lines, you can see, from 6 years of Trump's taxes. We're still waiting on those final audits to be completed, so it's going to take some time for the public to see the full extent and breadth of Trump's tax returns. But one key finding and recommendation that Chairman Neal, the Democratic chairman in control of the Ways and Means Committee, found is that Congress needs to codify legislation to force the IRS to complete these audits on time. What the committee found is that the IRS actually didn't complete audits of Trump's taxes from his early years until 2019, when the panel requested that these audits were completed. So that's one key thing Democrats want to focus on, and they're hoping to take that up before, like I said, Republicans are going to take control next Congress.
A lot to cover. Julie, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.